Hearts in Dialogue. From our readings today, Isaiah and Mark. I've set the table, and we rise, folks. We fly on eagle's wings. Isaiah 40:31, and then we fly into the Markan community from verses 29 to 39 from Mark 1. Interesting as we scan the earth below from the viewpoint of the eagle. Even higher, God's viewpoint. If God had eyes like we, what would God see? This beautiful creation, great diversity, different languages, cultures. We heard it, it's my favorite song from seminary, One God, Many Names. And that fits very well because this week, folks, is Interfaith Harmony Week. I just finished yesterday. Symposium sponsored by the United Nations, 12 to 16 different faith perspectives, all presented. And it was a great joy to be part of that. Something else, which is also very important this month, Black History Month. A lot of the stories that I venture into, or the Bible, take place in the ancient Near East. So that's meaning nowadays Middle East, Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, Greece. There's a whole significant other part of the planet, just a little further south. It's close. Egypt's part of it. But even deeper south, into Ethiopia, into Botswana, Nigeria, the sub-Saharan desert. What are the sacred stories from Africa which have led to what we see and read in the Hebrew Bible and even in other religious traditions? First of all, we have a theme which we've already talked about. Demons! There is another healing in Mark. Jesus casts out an unclean spirit. Now, to the modern reader, we may look at this as epilepsy or some biological dreaded disease which medical science 2,000 years ago really didn't know what they were dealing with, so demons being the appropriate word. However, a demon I want to talk about is the demon called ignorance. Okay? Very interesting. What happens when we don't know about the other, our religious neighbor? Remember, as I started from eagle's wings, okay, high up in the air, when we look down below, what do we see? There is a great diversity. One God, many names, one God, many peoples, one God of sky, sea, and earth has called us here. And now your comfort level, I'm comfort up there at the eagle's wings. Even at the satellite's wings, yes, way up into outer space, hanging out with the aliens, along with Luke Skywalker and the Star Wars and fighting it out with Darth Vader. Now some people, they may not be comfortable at that level. That's my background, how I grew up. I grew up in two very different cultures. That's easier for me. Some people may only be comfortable at pigeon's wings, and that's okay. And now that may be more relevant for us in Bobcaygeon because we don't have an Eagle Lake, but we do have Pigeon Lake. Yes, we do. So that's still okay. It doesn't matter whether you like to be high in the sky looking down below, whether it's from a flying carpet or whether it's from your second-story home or it's maybe just outside your front door, and that's where your comfort zone is. There's still one God with a tremendous amount of diversity. Even right here in our community of Bobcaygeon. Let's now explore this further. This idea of demons. I mentioned earlier ignorance. We're going to move away from epilepsy and other medical diagnoses. What about the demon, which I think is real, called ignorance? Okay, let's look. What are the influences on Hebrew Bible? Where did this idea of demons come from anyways? Well, when we look into ancient Hebrew, there's not actually one word in Ivrit, in Hebrew, which translates very nicely to demon. Okay? It comes as unclean spirits, even anonymous gods. That's an unusual translation, but it's there. So there's a language challenge. When you're going from ancient Hebrew to contemporary English, you're coming up with different interpretations. Also, what are the influencing factors, the context of the Hebrew Bible? You've got ancient Egypt. You've got the Zoroastrian faith, which is modern-day Persia, and their own ideas of angels, demons, influencing the Hebrew Bible. The first two prominent ones are Lilith and Azazel in the Hebrew Bible. Just curious, does anyone know what verses they come from? Is that, wow, unbelievable, truly unbelievable. Sue just got it. It's Isaiah 34:14. You're correct, Sue. Very good. She's a scholar. I am so blessed to have her here with me. Thank you very much. So Lilith, who's Lilith? There's Midrash, commentary by rabbis, that Lilith, are you ready for this, folks, is actually the first wife of Adam. It's not Eve. I wasn't there. I don't know. But it's interesting, the story, that there actually was a previous spouse. Now, she unfortunately went on the wrong path and got herself into trouble and started getting into child stealing. And whose children did she steal? I have no idea because, I wasn't there. But the second one, any guesses on where the second example... Unbelievable, folks. Sue got it again. That's right. Leviticus 16. That is Azazel. Now, what the heck is Azazel? That is the atonement ritual from Hebrew custom, going out in the desert and atoning for sin. You see this name, again, Azazel, in the Quran, in the Islamic faith. It is chapter 72, the jinn, which, folks, has nothing to do with gin and tonic. This is jinn, J-I-N-N. I know, shucks, I know there's some people are going, oh, bummer. I thought Andrew was going to talk about gin and tonic. But no, it's J-I-N-N, not G-I-N. And you know this word, an English word, which comes from jinn, J-I-N-N. It was a show, 60s, 70s, 80s, I'm not sure which era it was. I Dream of Jeannie. Yes, that comes from the Arabic jinn, genie in a magic bottle, Arabian Nights, or Walt Disney's Aladdin. So see, all the connections coming back 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years right to our modern time. Interrelated, and why are these stories, why are these connections all linked? Folks, my own belief, part of my Christ compass, because there really is one God with many names, one God with many peoples, with tremendous amount of diversity. Now, all the time I've been focusing on the ancient Near East, the Silk Road. But now I'm going to go further south. I've mentioned ancient Egypt, Northeast Africa. But the country we're going to be focusing on is Abyssinia. Now, where is Abyssinia? When you think of today, Africa, African continent, where the heck is Abyssinia? What's Andrew talking about? I have not been drinking any gin and tonic, so no, don't think. Abyssinia, folks, is modern-day Ethiopia. That's where today's sermon story is going to be originating from. We are going to go into the Rift Valley, perhaps maybe the birth of mitochondrial Eve which is your Y chromosome, and primordial Adam, which is your X chromosome, science and faith can come together peacefully. So, the story, the question first. How did the Jews, ancient Near East, modern-day Israel, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Haifa in the north, Beersheba in the south, Sinai, how did they end up in modern-day Ethiopia? Because, I don't think they took a flying carpet down there. I know there weren't any flights. So how did they end up? This is the story. And I'm going to get a jump on Valentine's Day, because with this crazy COVID, we can use some extra love in 2021. Let us begin. I'm going to share the story with you, the love story of Solomon and Sheba. This is going to be coming out of Interfaith Harmony Week, Black History Month, and as we fly on eagle's wings from above and look below and see the majestic creation of God. So folks, Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia, is a queen named Sheba, and she hears these rumors. We know she did not hear them on Twitter, because Twitter did not exist, but she hears rumors of this wise king, which is so knowledgeable and wealth and great lands. She wants to meet him. Okay. She's also a single lady, so there may be something else we don't know about going on in the background. But anyways, she gets her entourage on boats north on the River Nile with gifts and sends out word as she travels north, which Solomon hears from his pages that he is getting the royal visitor from the south. So he's getting curious himself. As we know, there's Solomon's portico, which you'll recognize as Solomon's porch. So you can just imagine what the rumors, who's this visitor coming from the south? The curiosity builds. Sheba eventually arrives at the borders of Egypt and the Mediterranean, crosses the Sinai and into what is now modern-day Israel, and approaching Jerusalem, and of course King Solomon. So he greets her. He is overwhelmed. Overwhelmed at the gifts, the wealth, and of course he's enchanted. You knew this was going to happen. He's enchanted with the beauty of Sheba. Solomon has lost track, I'm sure, of how many wives and concubines he has. I mean, if Solomon had the advantage of using Tinder today, online dating, he'd probably go crazy on it. But he is overwhelmed with Sheba's love and beauty. So he decides to have a big feast. Kings can do that in honor of Sheba, so he does. Sheba is entertained, eats, such a sumptuous meal. The people that come with her are all taken care of. And then after the meal, Sheba wants to retire. However, Solomon, he had other ideas being the king. There really wasn't anyone telling him, no, Solomon, you can't quite behave like this. You already got 300 wives, 400 concubines. I mean, what are you doing, Solomon? It is important. In the end, Solomon was actually condemned. Okay, keep that in mind. So, Solomon was a little upset that Sheba went to sleep, did not spend any extra time with him. Don't know, who knows what he had in mind? Can you guess? I'll let you figure that out. So, the next day, Solomon, with all his wisdom, has another idea. What could that be? He wants to have another special dinner for Sheba. This time, though, on the menu is going to be some super spicy chicken curry. Oh, folks, no, I just see that in my invisible notes. Let me erase that. No, it is not chicken curry. There was no super, that's a mistake in my invisible notes here. He actually had some food for Sheba, which is very salty. Okay? Very salty. Okay. So Sheba eats, but she made a promise before she ate to Solomon that I will not drink of the water from your court, she has to get permission from Solomon first. Now, can you imagine if you're having a very salty meal, big meal, and you finish it? Well, you're going to be a little thirsty. So see, Solomon's thinking a few steps ahead here. So Sheba finishes. She wants to have something to drink. Poor queen, you can't blame her. She just had a big meal and it's really salt. She had a lot of salt there. Hope she didn't have a blood pressure problem. We don't know about that, but it's okay. So Sheba finishes up her meal. She goes to retire, but she really wants some water. God bless her, poor thing. What's she gonna do? She thinks, I am in Solomon's palace. One place for sure where there will be water will be the chambers of the king, Solomon. Ha ha, the suspense builds, folks. So, in the middle of the night, when the moon is shining on Zion and the stars are bright, Sheba quietly walks over to the chambers of Solomon and sees the large vat, has some water. Her parched throat is quenched. She has drink. She feels relief. And then, guess who happens to wake up at just that very moment? Oh, it's almost as if this was planned. Hollywood couldn't write a better tale. Solomon awakes, and he reminds Sheba that she had made a promise that she would not drink of any water without first asking the king, Solomon, his permission. She's caught red-handed. Wink, wink, folks. She tells Solomon, I have made a mistake. Now I will do as you ask. Oh my, okay, here's the big hallmark moment. Yep, love is in the air. Like I said, I'm getting a jump on Valentine's Day. So, the stars shine night, brighting, and the moon disappears off into the sun rising. And then there's a surprise. 9 months later, we have the arrival of Melech. Melech, the first of the Solomonic line of kings and the Jews of Ethiopia. That's the tradition. Now, I'm going to go back to this story again in the future because there is so much, folks. There is a tremendous amount of history just within Ethiopia. And I started even getting into Egypt, Sudan, Morocco, Kenya, Tanzania, just Ethiopia itself. It is a tremendous amount of history and influence on our own Christian faith. The second country in the world today that declared Christianity as the official religion of the state, it was in Africa, not in Europe. Ethiopia, the year before the Nicene Creed, 325 CE, Ethiopia declared themselves Christianity as the official religion of the state in the year, Sue got it again, 321 CE. That's right, 321, the Common Era. So there really is a tremendous amount of history, and I want to show you some artwork. Look at the screen right now. Angels. Okay, what comes to your mind from the European point of view? They're usually fair-skinned, they even have blonde hair. I mean, why is that anyways? Look at these angels. You see, look at the faces. This is much more, it's Afrocentric. Okay? Now, folks, look at the apostles, what you see on the screen right now. See, look at the hair. It's actually, the hair looks maybe more similar to Bob Marley. Something also very interesting about Ethiopia, the Rastafarian faith, their Jerusalem, their holy city is in the country of Ethiopia. The name of the city is Shashamane. Shashamane, Ethiopia. If you go there, that is the sacred city of the Rastafarian faith. The next slide I want to show you here, from the Ethiopian Orthodox point of view, so this is non-European, this is Solomon greeting Sheba upon arrival into the city of Jerusalem. There's fascinating history just within Ethiopia, and for the future, I'm going to save this for another day, is the Ark of the Covenant. So once we reach that, within the Old Testament, I'm going to share with you a story. Where is the Ark of the Covenant today? Could it be just lost in history? Could it be in modern-day Israel? Or perhaps is the Ark of the Covenant somewhere within the African continent? We're going to leave that for a later day. But this question that I want you to reflect upon, and I shall look at this picture. This is Ambuber Synagogue. Okay, this is in Ethiopia, and you see the community. These are called falasha. Now, in modern-day Israel, that's considered a bad word, but in Ethiopia, that's what they call themselves. Falasha. They're the Ethiopian Jewry, and you see them all around the synagogue. I was treated actually very, very well here. It was wonderful to see a Jewish community right here in Ethiopia. Now today, a lot of the Jews, I say vast majority, are now in Israel, modern-day Israel, but you still can go, even today, and see a synagogue, an active synagogue in modern-day Ethiopia, and its origins are from the love story from Solomon and Sheba. The Jews, Hebrew Bible, God's chosen people, also Jesus was a Jew. Sheba, she wasn't Jewish. She wasn't Christian, wasn't Muslim, wasn't Hindu, Buddhist, nope. Maybe declared as pagan, but does that really matter? Think about that. Does that really matter? You have a love story here. They had a son, and today you even have an active Jewish community, maybe 3,000 years after this story, which you can even go to a synagogue right there in Ethiopia. This is what I wanted to bring out. And beware of the demon, which I think is real, is ignorance. That as we look into the Hebrew Bible, look into our New Testament stories, there is a very rich, fulfilling context behind that. Other countries and cultures which have influenced these stories, and their beauty shines through. You just have to look in between the words. And if you feel comfortable soaring like the eagle and looking down below, you'll see a wider field of view, and you'll see the beauty and the love of God's creation shared through Christ Jesus for you. Christ has died, he hath risen, he shall come again.